Days passed, and the red leaves which had fallen gracefully from the trees mingled with the soil on the ground, as autumn's colour gave way to winter's frost in the small wood on the hilltop. Hedgehog's little home was tidy and repaired by the ever-busy mole, as he darted here and there to make the nest as cosy and comfortable for the cold months ahead. It was after one of these frantic days of tidying, appetite whetted from a day's labour, that he decided he would make both Hedgehog and himself something to eat. He rummaged through the hedgehog's cupboards, peeking behind dusty jars and cans which looked like they'd lain untouched for 100 years, slender paws reaching into the darkest corners of the pantry. Amongst other things, he found a jar of sun-dried tomatoes, some pasta, and some herbs and spices, which looked exotic and smelled even more so. There too was some olive oil, a rich golden liquid, full of flavour and goodness. Yet alas, these ingredients alone would not make a mouth-watering feast fit for the both of them. So, with a deep breath, he braced himself for the Arctic cold outside of the nest. He scrambled and scraped, dug here and there, yet nothing could be found between the snow and the icy, frozen ground. He was almost at the point of giving up when he saw something in the corner of his eye, poking temptingly from the powdery snow under a great willow tree. This woven wicker artifact had survived the weather's assault on the small wood, and with a little effort, some digging and scratching, and some manipulation of his dexterous paws, the mole sighed in exultation. At last! This is what I need to finish my feast. For under the snow, Mole had uncovered a wicker picnic basket, full of groceries and other treasures. There was a tub of luxuriously thick mascarpone cheese, white and delicate as the snow it had been salvaged from. Also, some fresh basil, protected in the basket from the damaging cold of the season. And right at the bottom, amongst some shallots, was a wine from the farthest reaches of the known world. A fruity, fresh and delicious drink, enough to bring a hint of summer to the coldest winter day. Mole collected his findings back in the woven basket and hurried off through the snow back to the nest. Back in the warmth of her home, the hedgehog was warming herself by the open fire. The logs crackled and spat as the flames licked from them. The warmth filled the nest with heat and light. The mole, after wading through the snowdrifts outside, bundled his way through the door, dragging behind him his treasures. He immediately got to work, finding a couple of saucepans from the kitchen and resting them by the fire. In one, he scooped 2 paws of snow from outside, which quickly melted and started to boil in a rumbling growl, and in went the pasta he had found in the pantry. In the other, he poured a little of the olive oil and added some finely sliced shallots, which sizzled merrily in the heat. Adding the tomatoes, the basil, and the mascarpone, he blended together something which, if it tasted as good as it smelled, would surely impress the hedgehog. With a flourish, he mixed the pasta into the sauce and garnished it with a sprig of basil on 2 perfectly smooth wooden plates. The wine, which he had allowed to remain chilled in a bucket of snow in the corner, was duly uncorked and poured into 2 thimble-sized glasses. The meal was divine, and exceeded all expectations, creamy and warming, and a perfect antidote to a hard day's work. The hedgehog looked at the mole, and the mole looked back. They held their glasses aloft in the light of the crackling fire, and in unison said, "To us." To us, the mole repeated, with a smile on his face, as the wine warmed his bones. To us, the hedgehog mused, her eyes dancing with joy.